while we just clear the stage, we are going to be moving on to what I can see on my agenda says Alex Brooker and Chris Scull having a chat. That sounds like something that we just wrote down and then forgot to change, because their one on screen is a lot better than the thing that we put up on our agenda. So this is My Career in Media. Alex Brooker with Chris Scull, host of Let's Be Having You, the Naughties football show. So please give them both a very warm welcome.
One, two, 1, 2. Hello, everyone. How we doing?
Hi, you all right? How's it going?
Slot before lunch. How's morale?
Absolute stinker of a slot.
I like it.
Come in and everyone's pissing up.
I like to think of this as like the legend slot at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Just like midday.
Yeah, is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah.
God, it's like an anxiety drink.
My adrenaline is also pumping because you arrived with 60 seconds to spare and the slides weren't loaded in, but we're ready now.
Yes, mate. Yeah, I didn't realise until about 2 minutes ago you're interviewing me. I thought it was someone interviewing both of us.
No,
what a treat this is. I wondered why you sent me the questions last night. Great.
Yeah, I should introduce myself. My name is Chris Scull. I'm a podcaster. Started podcasting in 2013 with an unofficial West Ham podcast, and I now do the official West Ham podcast.
Moving up.
And I used to do a podcast with Josh Widdicombe about football in the 90s. And then in 2023, I launched a history podcast with Tom Crane and James. 2023 is, of course, the year that West Ham won a European trophy, a proper one,
mate.
Unlike Arsenal. And then in 2024, Alex and I launched the Naughties football podcast, Let's Be Having You. And obviously, I'm a big West Ham fan. Mark Noble is a huge inspiration for me, former West Ham captain. And Mark Noble says that you are his inspiration.
Yeah.
So that's Alex Brooker.
Oh, that is, mate. Yeah, it's. I'm not going to disagree with him. I am inspirational. I can't. You watch me open that bottle of water in a minute, they'll be in tears. All them people that are fucked off to get a sandwich,
They'll be running back in.
missing this, isn't it? Just 2 hands, isn't it? There you go. Look at that. Missed out on that. They didn't get what you've all got. Put some classical music, some Britain's Got Talent stuff there. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're going to end this with a Bob Geldof at Live Aid style proper beg for donations. I mean, sponsorship for our Naughties football podcast, because we don't have a sponsor. But we'll get to that. But we'll begin with, well, the bulk of this will be your career in the media, Alex.
Yes, mate.
Did you always want a career in media? It feels so.
I always wanted to be. Like, I've always wanted to be a journalist. Like right from when I was like 11. My first ever, when I was at school, my first ever match report. Arsenal got beat in the Cup Winners' Cup final by Zaragoza when Naeem scored from the halfway line. And it was like a way of therapy. I was so traumatised by the injustice of what had happened that I wrote a match report about it next time. I just always wanted to be, a football journalist. And, that's what I wanted to do. And then, fast forward 30 odd years, and last year I was dressed as a shoe in Paris with Josh Widdicombe. So that's
Dreams come true.
Dreams can come true.
Before you started in media, did you have any terrible jobs? What was the worst job you had?
There's jobs which weren't terrible, but I was terrible at. You believe I was actually a shelf stacker in my local newsagents, but I don't have what you would call reach. So I was just stacking. Everything was like the bottom 2 shelves. Cool on the top. It was just biscuits, Coke. It was all crisps, all on the bottom. Couple of the tea, and the geezer kind of ended up like saying to my dad, like maybe this, something else that I could do. Yeah. But then, and then I worked in retail for ages. I worked in the Reebok store in Ashford, Kent. Oh, what I didn't know about Reebok Classics weren't worth knowing, mate. I could sell them blue pairs, brown pairs, black pairs, cream pairs, red pairs, all of them. I'd always try and match them up with people's outfits for them. I was a great trainer salesman. And then I went to Tesco, worked at Tesco during my gap year. They saw the big company, more clever, knew the shelf stacking wasn't for me, just stuck me on the till.
Oh, nice.
Which was great, but the best thing is, so this is before chip and pin, people used to pay cash, and they were worried about me handling all the coins. So to make it, this is before equality was as big as what it was now. But they had the idea of giving me a pot that they put, like, I'd be able to scoop the change into a pot and then just scoop it into the customer's hand. It was like a great idea. I was on a Saturday shift. I had this pot up on the top, and literally someone like did the bill, but then put a £5 in it, like it was a collection for me. So I ended up leaving this pot, like Christmas, Saturday before Christmas, I was clearing like 160 quid out of the pot from people just going, it's Christmas, we'll give him a couple of quid. It was great job. Great, I loved it. I missed it. I miss it now. I loved it.
You mentioned representation in the media. Like, when I was growing up, I don't remember seeing anyone disabled on TV. Was there anyone you looked up to?
Nah, it was a really weird, like, back then, I mean, it's like I even at the time, I didn't even know, like, Jeremy Beadle had the Little Hand. I didn't know that. I didn't even realise it at the time. It was only after, when I joined the charity, that I always thought it was like a joke. I didn't know. And even that was like, so that was probably it. I mean, you know, I remember seeing Adi Adepitan when he broke through onto BBC. But by that time, I was probably, 16, 17. So there was nobody growing up. And I must say, when Channel 4, when they put out for the auditions for people to be presenters and reporters at the Paralympics, I did have like a negative view of disabled people. Like, I just thought there must be a reason why you don't see any of us. There must be a reason. So obviously, maybe society, it's sad looking back at it. I just thought maybe people don't want to see us on telly. So actually, when I did apply, I didn't really think that anything would come of any of it, because I was kind of like, I can see what they're trying to do and it's good. But none of us have ever been on telly really before, so is it really going to work? And I kind of had that opinion like all the way kind of through the training, right up until I saw when Channel 4 did that Meet the Superhumans ad, which I still think is the best advert I've ever seen. And I'm not like, obviously I'm biased, but it is, to me, it blew. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, this is, and the reaction to it, and then kind of actually people obviously it was a misconception, and things have got loads better, thankfully for me. I've had an absolute touch last night.
Something at just the right time.
Yeah. So it really did. Yeah, people really got into disabled at the right time.
So it all changed like in 2012. You touched on it there. Channel 4 launched the £500,000 talent search, which is like a talent search initiative. Channel 4 allocated £500,000 to train disabled presenting talent, aiming to achieve 50% disabled on-screen talent for the London 2012 Paralympic Games. And so they asked people to send in audition tapes.
They asked us to send in auditions. Just let you know. See, it's not like I didn't get £500,000. No, it's like if I'd have got £500,000 in that first 9 days, I probably wouldn't have agreed to do half the stuff Last Leg have got me doing. Over the years, I'd have just gone, I'll take that and run. But yeah, it was the investment, and I remember they said the audition was what you do, 3 minutes of Channel 4 airtime. And at the time, genuinely, when I saw the advert, because I was a sports journalist at the time with a company called the Press Association, a news agency up in Yorkshire, and the advert, no word of a lie, it was just like, are you disabled? I was like, yeah. Do you have a background in journalism or the media? And I was like, I've got 2 of these here. And then the other one was, do you have a background in Paralympic sport? And literally 6 months prior to that, I did a feature piece, and for Press Association about the search for talent for London 2012. And I got talent scouted just because I was trying these sports out to be in the rifle shooting team. So I got put on the rifle shooting development squad for London 2012. I ended up ditching it. I didn't have the right mentality, is what I would say for a sport which you can do for 2
hours.
All
those years of shelf stacking didn't
help me. The patience didn't help me. But I kind of looked at it and went, I've got all 3 of these. How many of us are there? I was like, there must be 4 people that are going to go for these jobs, so I'm guaranteed one. So I kind of left the YouTube. There was something like 1,200 audition tapes that they got in, something mad. And I remember I left it until the last day because I was so it's a thing that I'll get round to. Got to last day. I'd written this little script, and my mate had a small production company. Doing school prospectuses, and he was just like, I'll film it for you. Rang him up the morning, the last day he could put it in, he went, I'm busy today, mate. Do you mind? I was like, nah. I went, nothing would have come of it anyway. Literally, went into Leeds, shopping, and I remember him calling me as I was on my way home, and he went, do you know what, mate? I've got 10 minutes now. I've read this little script. I quite like it. He's like, I quite like it. He's like, come and film it now. I'll quickly put it together for you. We'll get it in before the 5 o'clock deadline. I was like, oh, I'm hungry now. I'm going home. And he went, come, just go on. He went, I'm on your way home. And no word of a lie, if he'd have never called me, I never would have done that. This audition.
Man. Who wants to see the audition tape?
Oh.
Yes.
Honestly.
It's great.
Oh, jeez.
And I will say this before we play it. You've got a lot better looking. Right.
My name's Alex Brooker. I live in Leeds and I want to be a Channel 4 TV presenter. Just like this man, my TV hero, Mr. Steve Jones. A lot of people have said that we're quite alike in terms of our charisma and our style and our natural good looks. I'm sure you can see the similarities. I'm just going to put him down here for a moment. Now, you've asked me what I'd do with 3 minutes of Channel 4 airtime. And I think I'd do what you're trying to and fill it with disabled people on screen. There simply aren't enough disabled people on TV at the moment. And off the top of my head, I can't think of one disabled TV presenter. But that's what's great about the £500,000 talent search, is that it is going to be putting disabled people on TV.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well done.
You missed. I mean, I get really into pitching a show with me and Steve Jones, where essentially it was the show that I pitched was us going out, travelling the world, and just getting drunk. And it's absolutely mad. Looking at it then,
You put that picture of Steve Jones down. You don't reference it again. I always thought it was.
No, it was just at the start. I just thought I really liked his outfit. I remember seeing it in like my girlfriend at the time. She had a magazine, and I remember seeing his picture in it. I say my girlfriend at the time. She's now my wife. My girlfriend, but not long ago. And she had this load of. She had this magazine. I remember seeing how handsome I thought Steve Jones was. So I just thought I'd copy the outfit in my head. I went straight down River Island, bought all of it. Give me this, my friend. And it was so stupid. But yeah, I mean, who'd have thought that would lead? I mean, as you can see, they weren't looking for a lot.
But the thing is, you weren't meant to be a co-host, right? You were a report. That job was to be a reporter.
Yes, I was at one point like genuinely a proper journalist. I got a degree. I really worked hard. I was meant to go to London 2012 as the football reporter. So it's a 7-a-side cerebral palsy football, the 5-a-side blind football, and I just made sure that I knew everything there was to know about both of those sports. I ended up, because I was one of the journalists, I ended up actually writing the research guide that all the presenters used at the London 2012 Paralympics. I was researching athletes like 10 hours a day in the lead up to it. I remember before that, while I was still at Press Association, my last job there was to co-write the official guide to London 2012 Paralympics. So I was like a proper they brought me onto the highlight show, this highlight show that they said they were going to do. They said, the guy, I was on work experience at ITV, and there was a guy who I was put next to, and his name was Pete Thomas, and I just used to do research for him for like ITV shows, and he ended up getting this highlight show. And he was like, I want to put you on it. He said, we've got this Australian guy who's coming over, come and meet him. So I remember meeting Adam in the May, and then they took us to this Channel 4 comedy gala. And I remember when Josh came on, he was like, this is the other guy who we've got lined up for it. And I was like, oh, okay. And genuinely, I've told Josh this many times, I thought he was the funniest person. I do think he is, but at that very moment in time when I watched this set, I thought he was the funniest person on there. And I was just like, so what do you want me to do? And they went, oh, well, we'll have you out and about doing reports. And basically what the show is obviously we're going to celebrate the sport, but also, like, you know, there's some funny things that happen and some clips, and like we might, you know, probably have a little bit of fun with them. And I was like what? And he was like, well, you know, they showed us this clip, and they were saying, oh, there's, you know, a blind triple jumper, and they missed the pit because their caller moves away. And he went, so it starts stuff like that, really. I was like, I mean, this is not, I mean, I'm not rolling. I was like, this ain't going anywhere. We're all going to get cancelled. This is outrageous. But I think because the show, you know, and I remember being on the very first show, and then my first thing was the opening ceremony. First time on live telly, I interviewed David Cameron, who was the then Prime Minister, got 2 minutes notice, threw up, interviewed him. And then that was in front of 11 million people. I'd never been on live telly before. But thankfully, people liked it. And then when I went on this last leg show the next day, I was buzzing. I was on there. They introduced me as their reporter. And then I come off, and then Josh went on. We weren't on at the same time. And then the next day I come in, ready to start my proper job, be the football reporter, hoping that's going to lead to things like Sky, ITV, things like that. And then I got called in, and they were like, we don't want you to be a journalist anymore. We want you to go on the sofa with these two. And I said, no, I don't know what you want me, I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, genuinely said to me, I'm going to be honest with you, you've got basically 9 days to impress. This is your chance. You can either be the voice behind the camera, or you can be someone in front of it. And they genuinely, that's what it was put to me. And I went, oh, well, you say it like that. I'll give this a go. And look, 13 years ago. And I'm properly lucky. Obviously, the fact the show took off, that we're still getting to do it now. I'm so unbelievably lucky, man.
And look at all the things you've done as well. The British public said you were a better singer than Dionne Warwick.
Yeah.
When you were on Masked Singer.
Yeah, that was
a bit obvious looking back. Look at that outfit.
Is it on the big one? It's on the big screen. It's on our
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. Is it not?
No, it's not.
Oh, no, okay,
That's me,
right.
Josh and Hilsey.
Oh, right.
We're one behind, I know. There we
Oh,
are.
there we go.
There I am. Big
There
Fred.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big clue in that outfit.
I was
there.
fucking, but I mean, she's great. She was great. She's great. She's Dionne Warwick.
That's kind of you to say.
But I went on there and I sang like, "You're welcome, Moana." That's a banger. I was not surprised. I wasn't surprised when those kids on the audience voted me through. This is a mad thing about Masked Singer. Everyone thinks it's like a singing competition. It isn't. It's being a kid. It's a party entertainer essentially.
Yeah.
You've got all these kids on the front row, and it's like, what do you choose? And it's like just bangers. Do a Moana song straight off, because even if I get voted out, my kids will have liked it. Yeah. And then afterwards, it was like they were like, "What else do you want to do?" And I was like, I know, I do Craig David, and I did Rewind on national. And then when I got to the semi-final, when I got really cocky, I was like, right, I want to do 2 boy bands. I want to do Take That. I want to do Backstreet Boys, and we'll see you in the final. And I remember like being really confident about it. And then when I got through to the final, I was like, this is mint. And then Danny Jones from McFly sing, and I was like, nah, I ain't winning.
Proper singer.
Yeah.
And then what about Soccer Aid as well?
Yeah, Soccer Aid.
That's last year, innit? Winning the trophy.
Yeah, you can see everyone's just happy, because I don't think anybody thought I was going to lift it. You can see how happy I am. There I am. A look on the face of a man who's just lost his pip. But yeah, well, I mean, mate, I'm doing Soccer Aid again this year. I love it. It's, you know, we're going to get to do the podcast there, aren't we? And I love it, mate. It's the dream.
Tell the Harry Redknapp story, because I always thought Soccer Aid was a bit of a...
Well, so the first year I did it, basically our goalkeeper was David Harewood, the actor, and he got injured. And you have to bring someone else on. So basically Harry wanted to bring on David James, who was like to play the second half, because you wanted to bring the pro goalie back on. Because the celebrity goalie plays second half, pro goalie plays the first. And they were like, you have to bring on a celebrity for it. And he's like, well, who am I going to bring on? He's like, doing his nut. So I just turned around to David Seaman and went, all right, come on, safe hands, give me your gloves. So I put these big gloves on, and the fingers are like flapping around. And I thought it was funny to go, right, come on in, here we go. And Harry turned around and he went, stop fucking about, Al, go sit down. And I was like, sorry. I had these big fluffy gloves on. Teddy Sheringham thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But it was good. I love it, mate. I absolutely love it. It's the best thing I've done, like, you know, in my career, is getting to do Soccer Aid. It's absolutely living the dream. I genuinely, I think, for me, it was like one of those things that I did. There were a few in telly. Celebrity Juice, when that was on, when I got to do that. League of Their Own, which, like, sadly is now is finishing, which is gutted about. But when I got to do that, there's a few things where I'm like, these are things I watched. I remember watching Soccer Aid when Maradona done it. And just so, to get to do it, my fourth one.
You're missing out the main thing in your career, which is, of course, Let's Be Having You, the Naughties Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, that is,
And everyone's here to learn about the future of brands, the future of audio and entertainment. I think the future is a huge opportunity to sponsor a top sports podcast that's got 700,000 downloads. We're at 1.5 series in.
Yeah, I think, to start from nothing and get to that level of popularity, I think is something that we should be proud of. And look, maybe if someone was to sponsor, look, I'm not against putting the brand on my leg and all. If you need it, I don't wear it to bed, but the rest of the time, you could have your name on my leg. We'll put in. We'll throw in. We're here. We'll do a deal.
Oh, yeah,
We'll do a deal. I'll do mittens. I'll do anything for you. I'll do what you need. I don't have any shape. Yeah. But I've loved. When you came to, I got to be a guest on Quickly Kevin a couple of times. I did one of the live shows with you boys, didn't I, as well? And I was just always thought it was amazing the fact that you guys got to make something that went and now everyone's doing live podcasts, don't get me wrong, but when you guys first did it, it was a really new thing, and I was always really impressed by it. And also 90s was slightly before my era, so actually when you were we want to bring it forward into the next era, the 2000s, I was like, this is a bit, it was just, this is a bit of me. The amount of podcast opportunities that I've had, and I was just like, no. And then you came to me with this, and I was like, 100%, this is, I'm more than, I absolutely, I love doing it. And what I love now is I think we're starting to, it's anything we started new, I think we're really starting to get a rhythm with it. We've had great guests.
Yeah.
I know, we had
Gordon Strachan, Frank Lampard, Matt Fordy and Dark Ray Stubbs.
Yeah, Frank, when Frank did it, that was a really big thing because I managed to recruit him from Soccer Road. So as well, I'll be there in June tapping everyone up and getting people on board. And I love it. And also I love the nostalgia. I loved it. We did one the other day. We were talking about what we were like in January 2000. And that photo of me where I look somehow older than what I do now. And I used to dress older so I could get into pubs. And I had a leather jacket on.
Trench coat.
And a trench coat and glasses. And quite frankly, let's be honest, if I dressed like that now, I wouldn't be able to pick my kids up as easily. And it's outrageous. And but even I love the nostalgia, and I think nostalgia is a big thing. By the way, I think nostalgia is a really big thing. I think people are desperate for it now. We see more of it, and I think that's with ours, to football, but I think that it's a lot of fun. I love it.
Great. I can see everyone is ready for lunch, so we'll wrap it there. Thank you, Alex. Let's Be Having You as the podcast. Enjoy your lunch. See you later. Cheers.